Welcome back to Mental Health Mondays with Kate. We are kicking off a 2-month series all about grief. And the reason we're doing that is because over these last years in my work as a bereavement counselor, I have come to see to a new degree, to a new level, how poorly our society does grief, how we treat grievers, the expectations, the timelines, the things that we put upon them. So I want to talk about that. I want to help people learn about that. And to that end, for those of you who saw, Faith Doesn't Erase Grief, my new book, is coming out in July-ish. Pre-orders up soon. I'll let you know when that is available. I'll announce that here whenever that happens to be true. So that's how passionate I am about this. It's the work that I do. I experience it day in and day out, and I see the transformation that people have when their grief is recognized, when it is validated, and when they can learn to do that for themselves as well. So today I want to focus on attending to your grief. Attend your grief. That's what today is about. So the reason for that is this. When I just noticed there's a fish on the wall in the background and there's fish on my shirt and it distracted me. Think about this. Those of you who are working age. When someone dies, the way your amount of allotted time off is determined is based on your employment level, full-time, part-time, contract, etc., the relationship of the person, but not the relationship per se, not the quality of the relationship, not the quantity of the relationship, but the biological nature of the relationship. So, for instance, parents, siblings, in-laws, grandparents, they're kind of the top tier children, top tier. Then there's this mid tier, which is like aunts and uncles, step siblings. Weird that that's in a different category, but sometimes it is. It's really bizarre that the HR world has. I love people in HR. I'm not trying to slam them, but I'm just saying, the HR world, somewhere along the line, created this kind of hierarchy that based on the biological relationship, here's the time that you get. So yes, there is caveat for adoption and that kind of thing. There's now caveat for partnerships instead of only marriage. But still, what it does not leave room for is the person with a completely non-traditional family. And so what I mean by that is, think about the person who is raised by, not adopted by, but raised by an aunt or a close family friend. I've had both of these instances, by the way. And they don't automatically get this extra time because the top tier gets like maybe 3 days paid leave. The bottom tier gets 1. And that's usually only if you're full-time, by the way. But in these situations when there's a different type of relationship than what is allotted, the person can get the time, but they're forced to explain. And they're forced to explain in a time when they are shocked and they are numbed and having to continuously repeat what has happened and justify to this person they probably don't really know very well why they need time off as if it was a parent. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. So there are a lot of things within our society that don't do grief well, and this is just one of them. So here's what I want to say. Those kinds of constructs those kinds of settings that dictate how much time you get and when you're supposed to be back to work and how you're supposed to function. And when we start getting questions like, what's the matter? Why are you so sad? Oh, I thought you'd be over that by now. That's a fun one. We have created, and I say we because we're all complicit because it hasn't changed yet. We have created this timeline that we give people that for the first couple of weeks, it's okay to, just kind of be really disjointed, disconnected. But then we expect a continuously increasing level of productivity, connection, and return to normal. The problem with that is there is no more normal. That person's reality, the person who has just experienced a death, is changed permanently. And it doesn't go back after X amount of weeks or months. It can't, because that person is still gone. So if you are a griever, here's what I want to say to you. Attend your grief. Give it space. Surround yourself with the people, and these might be all new people. Some friendships don't make it through grief. Surround yourself with the people who let you grieve. Surround yourself with the people who say your person's name. Surround yourself with the people who let you cry without trying to stop it because they're uncomfortable. Surround yourself with the people who will cry in front of you because they know that they're never going to trigger your grief. Your grief is there. It's just there. Surround yourself with the people who don't shame you or make you feel like a terrible person when you actually laugh again. Because it feels really good, doesn't it, to laugh again? Yeah. And it's okay to laugh again. It's okay if that takes a really long time. Just give it attention. Give it attention. The more we run from grief, the bigger it gets. The worse it gets, the more daunting it gets, and the greater risk you run of becoming stuck in your grief. And that is an even more painful place to be. I know that's hard to imagine, but it is. It's an even more painful place to be if you become stuck. So attend your grief. Give it attention. Give it space to breathe. Don't let yourself get put on the timeline that other people give you. So to the other people, to those of you not grieving in this moment, to helpers, to friends, to pastors, please don't rush your people. Say the names of those who have died. Don't expect that a parent is going to suddenly be over the death of their child in your time frame. And let's just also be clear, being over it that's not a thing. We'll talk about that in coming weeks, but that's not a goal of grief. Getting over it is not the goal of grief. Don't rush people. Let them be. And if they need a space to be angry, even at God, give them that space. Please don't judge them. Please don't stop them. Just let them be. This is why some friendships don't survive grief, because the grievers will ask for what they need, and they deserve it. Give them that. So grievers, attend to your grief. Helpers, friends, pastors, etc. Give people space. Ask them what they need. Offer a concrete thing that you can do, right? Especially in early grief, the brain does not function normally. So simply saying to a grieving person, let me know what I can do, I'm here to help you, that does nothing for them. I'm just going to tell you that right now, because they can't come up with it. They just can't. So, if you have a concrete thing that you can offer to somebody, do that. Say something like, I'm going to come over in a couple weeks and make sure that your freezer is still stocked. I'll bring my cleaning stuff. We'll just see where things are, and maybe I'll take care of that. I'll give you a call, and we'll get that scheduled. Set up meal delivery. But set up a meal delivery for, I don't know, a month down the road. The first 2 weeks are taken care of. Everybody swarms for 2 weeks. And then there is a black hole where nothing happens. Be the person who shows up at week 3, 4, 12, 24, 58. Yeah. After the 1 year, show up. Attend your grief. If you are the griever, attend your own. If you are a helper, give them space to do what they need. Offer concrete things that you can do for them. Just be. We need to stop ignoring it. When we give it attention, it can actually help diminish, lessen all of the things that get added to grief when we try and rush people through it. So, as a reminder, subscribe at katejmeyer.com and you will get the monthly newsletter, which has special announcements and the schedule for these, etc. They will likely be the first to hear about pre-order, just depending on when that comes out. YouTube channel has all of these. If this is your first Mental Health Mondays, there's a library of 27 other ones. Go to YouTube, search Mental Health Mondays with Kate, and you'll find it. Click subscribe, and then you'll never miss another one. What questions do you have about grief? Leave those in the comments, because I've got a big book. And so trying to narrow that down to 8 weeks of topics is kind of a challenge. So I want to know. I want to know what you need. What do you need to know about grief? Drop a comment, and I'll see what I can do. Until then, be gracious with yourself, attend to your grief, and be okay to ask for what you need. Be bold in your asking, and say your person's name every day. Be well. I'll see you next week.